Hello, everyone. So today is a little bit different. I mean, none of the mentors are here because they are currently in the Philippines. They're on a beautiful island called Boracay. Selena, did I say that properly?
You nailed it.
Awesome. Yeah. So we have our yearly like Wize workshop. And we had one earlier in the year, and that was in Sydney, which was awesome. And then yeah, at the moment they're in Boracay for the next one. So yeah, it'll just be sort of us, a really intimate group today, which is great. So we probably won't worry about breakout rooms. We'll go through the topic, and then if you've just got any questions throughout it, just yeah, feel free to jump in and ask any questions that you have. But yeah, with today's topic, it is about work from home versus in the office. And I'm really trying not to like take one side over the other. I'm trying to like keep an open mind. But I do have a bit of research that I'll sort of start with. For anyone who knows me, you'll know that I do like to get a bit of information and start with a bit of research. But so what I found is that 50% of accounting professionals work remotely at least part of the time, so either hybrid or fully remote. And around 38% prefer fully remote work. And then 29% of accounting firms have adopted a fully remote model. And then for the accounting industry specifically, research found that 55% of accounting professionals prefer a hybrid model post like pandemic. So yeah, once that sort of hit, that's when things started changing. Um, and then lastly, in the accounting industry, 45% of accountants use remote work to improve diversity and inclusion efforts within the firms, whereas 72% believe remote work improves work-life balance. So bit of a thing there. Um, but again, I'm trying not to like choose work from home over in the office because I know that there's pros and cons for both side. And I would like to explore both of those. Oh, good morning. Or hello, Paulina. I just saw you.
Mm.
Yeah, so I guess if we kick things off with, you know, the work from home, that seems to be the biggest thing at the moment that we're finding candidates are interested in. And then, yeah, so we'll look at the pros of that first. And what we've found is that there is less distraction because you're working by yourself in the office. Hopefully you're in an actual private office rather than in an open space. But yeah, it means that you can sort of get in there, do the work, and there's no distractions unless you've got, a cat or a dog running around. Um, there is it is greater like with the time management as well. This is sort of a pro and con in terms of the time management. You can obviously be more productive, which is great, but if you go to the con part of things, it also does mean that you could possibly overwork because you just sort of go, oh, it's 8 o'clock at night, but I'll just quickly jump online and answer that email and do that sort of stuff, which is not good. So yeah, you do still want to keep a work-life balance. Um, Raul, can I ask, how long have you been working from home like now?
Well, it's been like almost 5 years.
Mm.
Yeah, like probably with the most of the clients that I have speak with about this topic, it's like a little bit understanding of their market and how they feel like they can be like I don't know, more profitable for them or more suitable for their time and their schedules. So I really like this topic because for some of our clients have they're experimenting for the first time this migration of being remote and also for others like having an offshore people. But
Yeah,
yeah, 5 years.
yeah, that's exactly right. And that is the other thing. If you do have a remote office, you're not paying rent for an actual space. So that
Yeah.
is a bit cheaper as well. But it also means that you don't just have to hire someone from your local area. You can hire people all over the world if you want to, just like we do here at Wise. We have, oh, Selena, do you know how many people we have around the world now?
So we're working with in 9 countries.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so that's Mexico, Chile, Philippines, Brenton is Ireland, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like 9 countries. And it does work. Like even with the time zone differences, as long as you've got some sort of crossover, it definitely works. Um, and that's obviously for offshore, but yeah, even hiring someone locally, but having them work, it doesn't have to be fully remote, but just even a hybrid model, just to sort of get them to be able to have that work-life balance is really important. Um, I can feel myself going more on the pro of work from home, so I'm gonna move on quickly. But yeah, so then with the cons side of things, it can be quite isolating at times because you don't have people around you. Um, you can sort of be focused on your work the whole time and there's no what's that saying, like a water cooler chat and everything. There's none of that. Um, and then the other thing is sometimes, and Paulina, you and I were talking about this the other day about you could just be sitting there for hours and not even realize, like you don't even stand up to go to have a bit of a break. You're just sort of focused on your work and you keep going. And that's definitely not a good thing. I think they say that you should be standing up and walking around every half an hour. And I don't know about anyone else, but I definitely don't do that. Um, Even with this call is going to go longer than half an hour. Um, but yeah, it's just that's definitely a con. Um, but then, yeah, does anyone have any like questions or comments about this before we move on to the other side of things? Like, has anyone found working from home, or has anyone adopted the work from home thing? Mina, I think you have some staff that are working from home at the moment?
We're probably about 50-50, Danny.
Mm.
It probably made more sense learning from what we did that maybe it's not for everybody. So the senior staff are perfectly fine, working from home and functioning. I think some of the junior intermediate, it's probably something that they need to work towards because in the beginning, it's almost like, well, you just made it harder. Like, how do we help you when you have lots and lots of questions and it's not easy to facilitate that sort of discussion. But I think for senior staff, they're perfectly fine. And yeah, that's my comment to it, Danny. I think the seniority needs to be taken into account as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because it is, especially when you need to brainstorm and things like that, it is easier when you're in an office. Like you can still definitely brainstorm online and everything, but there's something different about being with someone right there next to you when you can just sort of go through things and ask questions and all of that. That is definitely easier. And yeah, Mina, like you mentioned about the senior staff being at home, that's okay. But with the juniors, they will have a lot more questions. So being in the office is a lot easier. Um, and then so that's one of the things with working in the office. Um, so we touched on the, you know, brainstorming, so the collaboration and everything, that's always a plus. The other thing is also culture. Like, yes, you can still have a great culture when you're working from home, but nothing beats, that culture, that environment when you've got a team of people together, especially when you've got Christmas parties, like, we've got Christmas coming up, end of financial year parties, or even Friday lunches. I don't know if anyone does that here, but I know there are a few firms who will do like shared lunches, um, or after work drinks or whatever it is. That sort of stuff you can't really do over Zoom. I mean, you can, but it's not the same. We do try though. I know with Wise, we've got Raul and I are trying to coordinate this, but we do like culture catch-ups where we basically jump on a Zoom call like this and we play games and everything. But yeah, there is something different about it being like in person. And even
Yeah.
today with everyone heading off to Boracay, it's going to be a whole different experience. I know that when I met some of my clients back in Sydney at the start of the year, there was definitely something different, and I felt like the connection definitely got stronger, um, because you are seeing them face to face. So yeah, working in the office is also it's 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 becoming one of those things where, yes, candidates want to work from home, but I think eventually, don't quote me on this, but I feel like eventually there's gonna come a point where some candidates are going to miss being in the office as well. Um, and that's why, hybrid is also a really great option, because it means that they can work mostly in the office, but maybe 1 or 2 days a week they can be at home. Um, Raul, before you were working from home, you were working, I'm assuming, full time in the office, or was it hybrid?
Yeah, full time. Well, hybrid, like kind of a hybrid. But yeah, because it was like in an other offices, and I still like having my office in my home. But yeah, I really like that topic of the culture, and I would like to highlight it that
Yeah.
in this specific topic, like the people are part of the team. So even that they are like far, far, far away, the people are still part of the team. They like to be integrated. They like to be like feel like they're part of a big, big project. So. Uh, Probably implementing a culture when the environment it's a little bit more like like we're together, and they know what are they doing, and they're doing for any specific reason. The work have a meaning for them, so it is easier that they can identify with our purpose. uh, it's the thing that I like to be like part of a big project. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, you do definitely feel like you've accomplished something a bit more when you're in the office and you've worked on a big project with the team. You can sort of see the results.
Well, it's different definitely, because being at home, it's like you have your computer like 24 hours, and sometimes that we need like something urgent or something like special to do. Like I like to be like probably sometimes at night, or it's something that I like to do also. So it is like really particular. It's not all the employees, and it's not we're not going to find that easy with most of the employees that, hey, take a meeting at midnight, because it's the time that everybody it's in the same time. But
Yeah.
like it is about like when we're hiring, and I think this is important, and this is how why you should be talking about this, because in the hiring process we need to identify these criteria or these personalities of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There are going to be candidates out there who tell you that they can absolutely work from home, but their productivity is not going to be great. Some people need to have that, not micromanagement, but just that constant, like just someone sort of around their area. We never promote micromanagement. That's not good. But yeah, there are definitely some personalities who just need to have a manager there that they can sort of call on, or whatever it is, or who might get a bit distracted if they are working by themselves. Um, yeah, and that's why we always say do timesheets. Make sure you've got your timesheets going, especially for your remote staff, so you can sort of see how their progress is and everything. But yeah, with the in the office side of things, one of I guess the cons is the commute to work. And that's what we're actually finding in Selena, being in the Philippines, there is a lot of traffic on the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what we're finding. We're finding that candidates are wanting to move away from that. Because we've had, and I'm not exaggerating here, we had one candidate who said that she traveled 6 hours to work and 6 hours back. And if she didn't, there was like she was the breadwinner, that's what she called herself. And if she didn't work, there was no money coming in. Um, and it's really sad because she could absolutely do her job from her home, but her employer said no. So yeah, there's definitely cons when it comes to commute, even in Australia. The traffic is getting worse and worse. In Victoria, personally, like I remember when I was working in the office, I was supposed to be 13 minutes away from the office, but it took me 25 minutes to get to work every day just because it was that, and everyone would know this, that stop start, which is not fun. So I do have a question for everyone. And if you can just raise your hand, who has implemented some sort of work from home or like hybrid model in the office? Edit, you've got, yeah. Mina, yeah. Yeah, so everyone, Peter, I know you have because you've got offshore staff, so you've definitely yeah, so there's quite a few who have implemented that. And so my question for the firms who haven't implemented that yet, what are your what are your I guess what are you hesitant about? And this is great because you've got a whole room here of people who have implemented and who have worked with this. So this is your time to get those answers that that might make you go, okay, well, maybe I should be looking into this. Natasha, do you have any remote staff or
No, we
hybrid?
don't have any. We don't have any
Yeah.
remote staff. We've just got all our staff in a central office.
Yeah.
Obviously, during the pandemic, we did have to adapt and evolve to that. I did find there was abuse, which probably really turned me off wanting to do that,
Yeah.
knowing that staff weren't doing the right thing when they were at home. But the time was still ticking on the timesheet, which then made it very difficult to manage. And data security has probably been my greatest concern. How can I control the security of my clients' information if that information is distributed all around the country, or the globe? I mean, so I guess from that, I'm responsible for that. So it's been something I've been hesitant about sort of going into. And I found as a team, we're all in one place in an office too. We've been able to collaborate and brainstorm and come up with things and support one another. If someone's stuck on something on the phone, you can hear that and you can then jump in straight away and give them a hand. Whereas if they were just at home, they'd probably be a little bit, well, I'm at a loose end. What do I do? So we are only a small team. There's only 3 of us. So that said, I don't have a team of 100 that I'm having to manage, which would probably be a different position if I had a larger team.
Yeah, no, this is great, Natasha, because this is a great time for you to sort of get those answers. Does anyone have any recommendation before I jump in? Does anyone have any recommendations on the security side of things on data? I mean, I'm going to pick on you again. And Peter, you can both answer.
Natasha, for like those concerns, they're definitely something that we had to walk through in that journey as well. And for the size of the firm, it probably makes sense. You can sort of maintain, an in-office sort of team, but as you're scaling and you breach that sort of 10, etc., it's almost that the market's probably going to push you out of your boundaries that you're going to have to sort of entertain that. But data security, the same problems exist in office and work from home. So I'm sure you as the practitioner take your laptop and you've got some sort of home office or setup, etc. We implemented Practice Protect, and then locking down all those programs. And then you can go a step further. Like they've got device management now. They've got app management as add-ons and things like that. So we found that all of those things you'd have to, it's as easy for a team member in the office to click on a phishing scam and then expose you to all of those sort of issues as well. So you address it both the same. So the fact that they're working from home, you still take the same approach: app management, device management, and cybersecurity management.
Yeah, no, that's great feedback. I mean, we do use Practice Protect. I've had it in place for probably 5 or 6 years now, so we have definitely had that in place for a while. I was thinking more of the case like in our office, no one takes laptops home. So you're at work, you can access those things. You step out the office, you can't access them. So you can't access something on a Saturday afternoon. It's just not possible. Also, I know the office is locked at the end of the day. Computers are switched off, all of that. The passwords are all secure. Whereas if they're operating from home, I don't know who else is in the home. I don't know who's walking through the place. I guess they're the kind of concerns I'm like, well, I don't have that level of control. And that's because I'm a control freak. So I absolutely respect I probably need to change some of my thinking. But I guess when I know, well, I'm responsible for this, how do I ensure that, when someone's working remote, that data is still safe?
Yeah, 100%. If you took that mindset and tried to apply it to a team of 10, 20, or 30, it's not going to work. There's going to
Yeah,
be ways that have to evolve. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I respect that.
just say one more thing that every year when we renew our cybersecurity insurance policy, which brings to our attention how relevant it is, we go through that policy, and then we then have our internal policy, our systems and processes. So we get the whole team together for an hour. We go through cybersecurity. We go through, what are the breaches? What sort of phishing is out there, and then we'll design the policy to, and capture as much as possible, so that the staff are completely aware and across all the issues of cybersecurity. And then I'll get every staff member to sign off on that policy. So, I'll send it out through FuseSign, get everyone to sign off on it. They've read the policy, that we've had the meeting, we've done the best I possibly can to prevent any cyber breaches on the back of using Practice Protect and everything else. Yeah.
That's good. Thanks, Peter and Mina. And there is tracking software that you can put on the laptops as well. And yeah, I mean, you never want to use it for micromanagement use, but there's definitely software that if a USB gets inserted, that you'll get notified. There's things like that. But then I do have clients who say, yeah, but what if someone takes a photo with their phone? And that to me just comes down to trust, basically. Like and not to try and sell Wize Talent or anything, but we personally have a really, really a 47-step hiring process to make sure that we are finding the right person who has that integrity. Because the last thing you want is to hire someone and not trust them, because that relationship is never going to work, regardless if they're onshore or offshore. You need that trust if you're hiring someone either remotely or hybrid. But yeah, Natasha, does that sort of help a little bit? I mean, I know there would still be heaps of hesitation and everything, but just a little bit of clarity, a bit more, or
Yeah, absolutely. I think the trust point is absolutely the critical part. And I guess, if I had a great team member and there was a need for them to say, can I look to a hybrid version, and we've built that trust and rapport and relationship, I would have probably no hesitation in that, because I already know the merit of that person. I have to admit, I would be cautious with a complete stranger. I don't know who you are. I don't know, your ethics. I don't know anything about you. And then I also wonder, and this might be something someone who's been through this before could provide some advice and support, is how do you, I mean, I'm new to Wize, by the way. I only signed up yesterday, so I'm as green as they come. Is how do you do the training? Like, how do you teach them all your systems, your processes, the way you do things, the many arts of the phone, all of the bits and pieces. At least if I'm in the office, I can have them sit next to me and we'll just go through all of it.
yeah.
I would love to hear, how do people onboard remote staff where they're not with you, and how do you manage them and support them and make sure that they're learning and are familiar with your systems and all of the bits. Like, there's just so much when a new person starts.
Yeah. Edit, you've got a good answer. Did you want to take on this question?
Yeah, I mean, we've got more of a hybrid model now. We do both. Some people just prefer to work at work, and then we had people who worked fully remote, and after 2 years they said they were going insane and they wanted more human interaction. So kind of the one in between seems to work best for us. But I've done quite a lot of onboarding and kind of sharing knowledge via videos. So it kind of started off with, I think probably somebody asked me 3 times how to do the same thing. So I got a little bit annoyed and I was like, okay, next time I do it, I'm just going to record it. And it just, in the end, turned into this fairly chunky video library. But literally, I'm in a position now where I've got a new person starting, and I'm not saying don't be personal and, you know, have meetings with them, but I can just say, it's that video or that video or that video. Took a while, but actually it worked really well for us. And particularly the younger generation seem to prefer videos to manuals or, you know, reading books or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, especially now that we have these tools like Loom, and you know, sometimes the questions are so repeatable, or the people can just review it again to answer the same questions. So those things helps a lot for them.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Does anyone else have any other tricks that they use, like any tips on other things besides videos?
Yeah, I mean, this one's not necessarily onboarding, but you know, the concern you raised about like somebody just being there and giving them a hand and whenever they need them. So one of the financial services firms near us use this model where they literally body people up, or call it whatever you want, and they open a Zoom link in the morning, and both people work, but if they need to ask a question or, you know, just need some human interaction, they can literally just talk to each other because the connection is open all day. And I had quite good feedback about that from people who work there. Don't know if that helps.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I've got a client who does that as well. They've just got I think it's Zoom as well, just as a Zoom room open all day for 8 hours, and yeah, they can just constantly talk to each other.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, Christopher, that's a good one as well. I saw your last one. I was like, yeah, that was good. But about the SOPs and now the checklists. Did you want to go into a bit more detail about that?
So I think for new onboarding, kind of like what Danny was saying, she has the 47-step process for recruiting. And being a WISE member, it's always about the SOP, standard operating procedures and checklist. By developing these, you kind of free up some of your time and knowing that these steps and processes will get accomplished by the right person doing them. So it kind of frees up some of your thinking and ensuring that the right person is doing the right job.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Chris. Stefka, I saw you somewhere and now you've disappeared. Oh, there you are. Did you have something?
Yes. A couple of things. I like to come to the office, but all my people are remote. I have people in the Philippines. So what we did was we have a different level of access to our information. So anybody that is starting in the Philippines, we use LastPass. They cannot see any of the passwords. They can still log in and get the information. They only have access to, let's say, to the bank accounts viewing only. So we have different level of access and no access to anything that has to do with payroll, with anybody's bank information, personal information. We use SharePoint for our files, so they only have access to working papers and whatever they need to do the work, but nothing that sensitive. And so we split the information into people that can work onshore that have full access to payroll and whatever needs to be done. LastPass is great with that. They can still log into whatever they need, but they actually don't see the passwords. And as far as training and onboarding, yes, it does take time, but we find that we use Carbon for our checklists and practice management, and we have over time. It doesn't happen instantly, but over time we've built all the processes, and the offshore people can bring a file up to like 90 to 95% completion without us getting. Yes, you have to show them the first month or two how we do things, but it gets easier and easier and better. It does seem like a lot of work and overwhelming at the beginning, but there are ways, and you just do a little chunk each time, and it will work eventually.
Steph, can I just just ask you a quick question. Just with the LastPass, you know how you can set it so that they can't see the password.
Yes.
Yeah, I've had this situation where I've done the same. Love LastPass. It works exceptionally well. But then I found that we did some testing, and I also did some testing in the Philippines where it came up and you couldn't see the password. But then, depending on your Google settings, if it came up, you could actually then save the password
Even.
within Google.
Yes.
Is there a
Yes.
workaround for that, or?
No, we haven't found it, but I don't give anybody remote access to anything that they can do any damage. Viewing
So,
access
okay,
will be
yeah.
on everything. Yeah. So we
So
have
Google,
we split
yeah,
our even LastPass. It has like different folders in there, so they only have access to viewing only for anything. They cannot process transactions of any kind for any of our logins.
yeah. So they log in through say they're logging in through Google
Yes. Yeah.
Chrome, but
Yeah.
then depending on what they got switched on with Google Chrome, sometimes it'll pop up and say, "Do you want to save this password?" Even though they can't see it, and if you say yes, then it saves the real password in the back
Yeah.
end of Google Chrome. But I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
but
yeah, we couldn't find the way around that, so it's just access. We limit the access to information.
okay,
Uh,
all right, thanks.
Nothing, yeah, that's the only workaround.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
I think that's where trust comes into it again. Yeah. And yes, Natasha, does that help a bit more? Hopefully it does.
Yeah, no, that's been great. We do have a lot of like the SOPs and checklists. I do have a lot of that in place already. So, and I like the idea of, yes, if you've got the open Zoom room, that certainly is something I hadn't thought of. I sort of thought, dialing in and out multiple times during a day, but yeah, it makes sense just to have it open. And may not be any activity, but if they need some help, then it's there and open. So that's certainly a new idea I hadn't thought of. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. And it's like onboarding, yes, it's always going to be easier in person, but nowadays there's so many checklists, and I've got checklists as well if anyone needs it. Natasha, if you'd like a copy, or if anyone else likes a copy as well. It does actually go through onboarding someone in the office and remote as well, just so that you can see what the slight differences are. Yeah, so more than happy to send that across. If just you can just put it in the chat if you'd like a copy, and I can send that across. The final one I want to talk about, and I guess we've already covered it throughout the discussion, but is the hybrid model of working 1 or 2 days a week. So the biggest thing that I'm finding nowadays is that they're definitely open to it. A lot of clients are wanting, they're wanting their staff to work at least 3 months or even 6 months, like even past probation, before they actually adopt that model. And Natasha, like you were saying earlier, because you don't want to just hire a stranger and be like, yeah, you can work from home. I know nothing about you, but go for it. Yeah, so there are definitely clients who are sort of going, well, you need to work in the office, even just for training. Like Mina, you were saying earlier about the junior staff, like having them in the office, especially at the start for training, is really important, because they are going to have a lot of questions. And anyone, even if they're senior staff, just learning about your processes and how you do things. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely ways you can do it online. I know that when I joined Wize, Jamie and I were on a call every day. We would record every session, just like we were talking about earlier. That way, if I did need to rewatch it again, I could. I didn't have to ask him questions. Although, I mean, he was always around anyway. But yeah, just having those videos recorded was a lot easier as well. I'm just going to check the chat because I can see the chat going off. So I just want to see if there's any questions or anything. Yeah, about I think one of the major issues to solve is training junior members. And is that in regards to remote specifically, or even in the office?
No, I think the issue is that senior people can quite happily work from home efficiently, but you're not really bringing up the next generation to the same standards. I think that's probably the main reason why I choose to work from the office, because I actually feel I can contribute more by being closer. Having said that, in the pandemic, I think we all learned that if you need to do something, you can achieve it. It's just probably, for me, I think a slower learning curve to try and do it remotely.
Mm. Yeah, and that it will take time to do that, especially if you've spent your whole working career working in the office with people, and then all of a sudden, over the pandemic, you've had to like change everything, change your mindset, change everything. It is going to be a huge adjustment period, to trust people, to work out what needs to be done so that everyone is being trained properly, nothing's being left out. You need to, have those things, but there is so much information. There's heaps of information in the Wize Vault. I've got information too, again, happy to send it across, of how to do this properly so that you're not skipping steps, steps that you might go, oh, well, that's not really necessary, but later in the track, it is actually something that your staff need. So sorry, I'm just looking at my notes to make sure that I haven't missed anything. I think the biggest thing is being very transparent with people from the start. So if you are open to hybrid, but they do need to work in the office for 3 months or 6 months at the start, make sure you do discuss this during the interview stage or even the pre-screening stage. Don't leave it until the last minute where you've gone through the entire hiring process with someone, and then right with the job offer letter, then you go, you need to work in the office first. That's not good for anyone. Even in the job ads, if you've got work from home, but then you don't specify that it's hybrid work from home, you'll get people applying from everywhere, and it's not their fault. They've seen work from home, so they're going to naturally think that that's all it is. So yeah, you need to make sure that you are being specific, but also if you're going to adapt that hybrid model or work from home, you need to have good leadership. There's if you don't have those really good key senior people, this isn't going to work, because you need to have someone who's always going to be able to answer those questions online, who's always just going to be there. Whereas if you've got someone who's not great at remote working as a senior, and then you've got other people in your team that are working remotely, it's not going to work at all. So making sure that you do have strong leaders in your firm who can work, even partially from home, but who can do their job properly as well, because you don't want people slacking off. And then the other thing is just making sure that regardless if it's fully remote or hybrid or whatever it is, that you are having regular catch-ups. I know there are some firms who actually fly their staff out to wherever they are, and it could be like once every 3 months or once a year or whatever it is. I think this particular firm does it every 3 months. They all just join. They'll go to, I think they're based in Geelong in Victoria. So they all go to Geelong, no matter where they are. And then they'll have a day where they just catch up. They actually work together. So they've all got laptops. So they'll bring their laptops and they work together from a rented space that they rent just for the day. And it's just a good way to sort of catch up and everything. And I know when I went to Sydney a few months back, and I got to see the team, and we were all still working, but we were working together. That was really nice. We didn't have any questions that we needed to ask each other about anything, because we all know how to do our job, but it was just really nice being with the team. So that's definitely something that you can adapt if you do have purely remote staff. I think that's pretty much it, but does anyone have any other questions about this? Anything that they're struggling with in terms of anything really, but like work from home or Greg, David?
Mylan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
David.
social. You're talking to me? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, social events. Like I'm just, when everyone's on different time zones, you got people who are, it's breakfast and lunch at the same time.
Mm.
So yeah, it just always, when we try to have, lunch or dinner or have drinks over Zoom, as you say, it's not very not very easy anyway because it's Zoom, and then the time differences make it even more difficult. Just, looking for ideas on that. I mean, I've heard lots of different ideas, and we've done things like having betting syndicates and things like that where we take turns, betting. And then in the Indian government, like closed down Indian people accessing Australian betting sites.
Mm.
So we tried a few things, and that was kind of working a bit, actually, that one. But what other ideas have you got?
So, Raul, I'd love to hear from you as well about this with like the culture catch-ups and everything.
Yeah, well, about these, David, like probably will be like based on the disposition, like based on the disposition of them, and see how free they feel to have like these catch-ups, and see like probably it's not part of their work, but feel like this is part of the integration. At least for me, what I would like to start like doing like probably like one-on-ones catch-ups and see how the people it's feeling, see that, and then like integrated the team, like see, like for example, us like say like, hey, go to Danny for these, or go to Selena with these, and these interactions that we're having first, like start like making like a match with us, and then like like just like making lines between them after you're just one-on-one, and like encouraging the people to have that. Then probably once everybody it's a little bit like more interesting to know a little bit more about Danny, a little bit more about Selena, they will be like more easier to say like, probably it's my 9 p.m., but I don't have nothing to do, and they are so nice. Like probably I would like to go just one step back and say like, okay, they're already like a team. They feel like with them. A fun fact. When I start here in Wise, I start my work activity in January, but in December it was the Christmas party, and it was at my 3 a.m. Like I wasn't start my first day, but I was interested in say like, how's the team, like what is the dynamic of this. So 3 a.m. I stay wake up just to have like just say hi to everybody. So it's part of this like having like the people a little more integrated, and make these like the people can feel like these, I don't know, courage to attend, and feel that they are part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, mate. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. And
Thanks, Raul. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because this you were definitely the exception, Raul. But I'm sure there are staff out there who would be like, "I'm not joining at 3 a.m. I don't know you people. I'm going to stay asleep." But
yeah,
if you build those connections with people, so yeah, like you mentioned, doing those one-on-ones at the start, getting everyone comfortable with each other, and then if you have the right people in the right seats with the right attitude, and that's the biggest thing, the attitude as well, then you can have those meetings where sometimes it is going to be 11 o'clock at night, hopefully not 3 a.m. for people, but 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night for someone, but they'll be like, well, I love my team, I'm going to join, which is exactly what happens here at Wize. Yeah, so there's that part of things. And yeah, David, does that help a bit?
Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome.
nice.
And
Mylan,
then
do you have a question?
My question is more around measuring productivity. What do you have in place to do that? Because I currently have someone working, and I know she has an interest in at least doing some work from home. Um, my biggest issue is she's currently she's studying for her CPA, and on her study days, she wants to come to the office to study because she's more productive at the office studying. So there's a bit of a quandary there because if you want to come to the office to study because it's quieter and you can focus better, how do you think that you're going to be able to work from home? So I'm having a little bit of an issue in that regard, and like I say, productivity for me is also a bit of a concern.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to state here, Maylene, that probably should be like kind of a project. Like audit her project and see like if she's developing the project and probably she's busy during all day, but what you're expecting it's done and probably she's doing at midnight or 3 a.m. You don't know what is her schedule, but if she's developing the work that you're needing, like probably it's where the balance it's gonna start. Like, okay, well, you're in your house, but you're actually giving me what I need from you. So you resolve yourself. Yeah, that will be one, but you're agree. It's a perfectly understandable concern about what she's asking for, but probably that like just have that deal between what you need from her.
Okay.
That's a lot nicer than what I was going to say, Raul. I was going to say if if she's not able to work from home because of distractions, then it sounds like she's not the kind of person that you can have working from home. Like she needs to be working in the office.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she's made it clear from the start, like about her distractions and everything. Stefka, I saw that you raised your hand. Do you have a comment about that?
You can test it, like it depends how long she's been with you and stuff. But we have budgets for every job. So I can look at a job and I know how long it will take. If it takes her twice as long, then we have a problem. But if the job is done on time, I don't care when they work, what they do, as long as the job gets done in the budget, the rest is whatever. And you can test it, give her a week, couple of days, see how it goes. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Just tell her under the condition that you're going to, if I see that the productivity drops, you're coming back to the office and see how they go. It's
Okay.
not all or nothing. It's
Thank
up
you.
to your discretion. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I probably have some files or some projects that I can do that with. And like you say, just test it and see how it works out and keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then Edit, you have a question. Did you want to ask this question for the group?
Yeah, so I always worry that if you have a person who works remotely on their own, they are going to be isolated. And as much effort as, one tries to make with meetings and keeping, the involvement going, I kind of worry that it's very difficult when you've got a team of people and then you're kind of on the outside because you're a long way away or you just started or whatever it might be. So those of you who work remotely, would it make any difference whether you had someone else starting at the same time? Would it make any difference whether that person was in your area, in your location, or remotely, or does it actually not matter at all? Am I worrying about something I shouldn't be worrying about?
Mina, I'm going to pick on you again to help answer this one.
I think in my opinion is it makes no difference. It's going to come down to other factors. We've got team members who work in the same suburb and they work remotely a few days a week. It's more just to fit in with their requirements. So they're a single parent with 2 kids, etc. And that day sort of helps them, navigate and feel like, they can function life around work and etc. So I think it just depends. And the only other comment, which I think goes back to maybe David's one, is take a note from the younger generation. They're building connections online. They're building connections and relationships, and sometimes they'll even talk about, oh, they admire this person, or that person's their hero, and they've never met them. So when you take that social aspect and bring it to your practice, when in our team, if team members are posting on, we've got like a social chat on it, and if they're posting they got a new cat, etc., and then there's conversations, and you're just trying to create that social network, which is what it is. Outside of that, I don't think the where they're located is going to make much of a difference. That's my opinion.
So
And
when you start with one remote staff or two remote staff makes no difference. Is that what you guys who work remotely concur with?
They
Doesn't make a
shouldn't,
difference.
they shouldn't feel like camaraderie because another person works remotely. Does that make sense? Because then you've missed the whole point. You're not trying to make them feel like they're remote in the first place.
Okay.
yeah, and some people they have a specific necessity about what they wanted, like why they wanted to work like home office, like parents or people who likes to be in their houses or that they feel more productive in their houses. So there's a specific like topic or a specific thing that people it's looking for. So probably as in a direction point and identify those necessities and see like if those are the right necessities, like meaning what? Like if this person is in his home but never answer the team's chat, never it's the person it's like basically like boom disappear, so that's wrong, that's a red flag for you. But if the person is always like online, he always answer the questions, it's developing the work, so it's kind of the way that you can start like auditing those like times that the people is like working in their houses.
Thank you.
Because makes difference once that a person who's actually like putting all the efforts to the work in their houses and those that are not.
Yeah, it's not a trust issue. It's more a case of looking at it from the other side. How is it easiest for you guys, or how does it work best for you guys? I guess that's kind of my question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Paulina?
Yeah. So I joined Wize about a year ago, and when I joined, I had no idea Raul was also from Mexico, and we were in the same time zone. We don't live close by. But to me, it made no difference whether Danny was in Australia and my other coworker, Chris, is in the Philippines. That to me was even more exciting. Because to me, from Mexico, I got to meet people from from other places around the world. Um, so it really doesn't make a difference. I connect with them 4 to 5 hours each day on like my time. And yeah, it really, yeah, I mean, if I would have found out Raul was also working here and my same time zone, it really wouldn't have impulsed me to accept the job, quicker because I knew my teammates and my coworkers, like my direct ones, Danny and Chris, they're right there every single time I need them, even if it's not during my time zone. I know that when they're online, they resolve anything I need. So I don't feel like I'm not part of the team, and that kind of makes sense. And I don't feel like an outsider or like, oh, this time zone it's a different time zone. And you truly don't feel it. It kind of doesn't even, yeah, like you kind of don't think about it if it makes sense, because the people you're working with and the things you're doing on your day to day is kind of like what you need to concentrate on. So yeah, I don't think it really makes any difference whether people are in Mexico or in Australia, as long as you have that like culture of I'm here anytime you need me. I think people are going to feel welcome no matter where they're from.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank
And
you.
I
Oh,
have like some catch-ups at like 7 or 8 p.m. and they have another's at 7 a.m. like with different people around the world, a part of Wise. So this is just like your convincement of being part of the business and being part of the project, and just like having the people like near to you, and just continuously like looking for the goal that you're looking for.
Thank you, guys. Much appreciated.
Nice.
Yeah,
I do have
so
a question about that, if that's okay.
absolutely.
So So the flexibility for employees working whenever they want, as long as they achieve those outcomes. And I gather we've got people from all around the world. In Australia, Fair Work doesn't really allow that level of flexibility. Like if an employee wanted to work at 3 a.m, we're now paying double time rates without choice. You can't choose to not pay someone those penalty rates because they're working at 3 a.m. That's not our standard business hours. So how do you navigate providing flexibility in a framework where there is none?
That's a great question.
Well, Danny, well, you have your perspective as living in Australia, but for me, for example, or the people that I have seen like working like offshore, as much as they're putting their 7.5 hours in the carbon or any software that you're recording your time, you're working your 8 hours, 7.5 hours per day. That's it. Like you're not working like extra hours. But I don't know, Danny, how is in your case?
Yeah.
So in
For
Australia,
me,
you'd still do your 7.6 hour day. That's a standard work day. But when you do it also attracts what person's entitled to be paid. If they do it between sort of 7 a.m, 6 p.m, standard rates apply. But if it's outside of that, you have to pay penalty rates without choice. That can then make it, well, it's unaffordable to pay someone double time just because they're choosing to not work in business hours.
Yeah.
So that makes it a very big challenge to make it, flexible.
yeah, absolutely. To be honest, I've never come across a case where someone wanted to work past, 6 o'clock at night. It's actually been earlier. So they'll say, "Can I please start at 7, and finish earlier?" And it might be because they'll start at 7 and then quickly drop off the kids at school and then pick them up as well. Or they do the 9 till 3 sort of shift, which is obviously different. That's a different thing again. But yeah, I've never actually come across someone who's wanted to do past those sort of standard hours.
I've had particularly mums who want to work. I've had people approach me before saying, "Oh, the kids go to bed at about 7:30, so I can jump back on and do another 2 or 3 hours there." And I'm like, "Well, can't afford you to work at that time of night."
Yeah.
Even though I personally have issues, that works for them. That's fine. But that's where that lack of flexibility is actually not driven necessarily at a firm level. It's by Australian legislation.
Well, Mina, did you want to help answer this one? Because I've seen that you put it in the comments.
Yep. So Natasha, we're 99% working mum workforce, and that's amongst 20 plus members. Even them, they're starting 7, and then they've got the school pick up and drop off. Not even one has asked outside of that 7 to 7 flexibility. So that's what we've experienced across that number of team members, working mums, etc. 7 to 7 still works.
Yeah, it can be in a specific case, probably since this is like more based or most of the people are in Australia. And for example, I am 17 hours behind. So my flexibility needs to be like a little bit more extra since the people it's more around the world. Those meetings that I have, it's with people in Australia, in Philippines, in India, in Ireland. So it's different. That's why.
Yeah. So I guess, Natasha, maybe our advice is if someone wants to work past that in Australia, they might not be the right fit. But if you were looking to hire someone, offshore, then yeah, that could be a better option. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much it because it is 10 o'clock and I don't want to keep anyone else waiting. I know Selena, she's ready to catch a flight to Boracay now.
That's right. Oh, just a quick reminder. We do have our WhatsApp group. So if you haven't joined yet, I posted the link earlier. Just feel free to connect there. It's also one of those open chats, or you can just put it on mute. Just check it in when you're looking for something. But yeah, a lot of the mentors, all of us are there. So if you have any questions, just feel free to post it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's definitely a great chat because it's sort of like this as well. Like if you've got random questions, the mentors are right there. Like it's so easy.
Jamie, Ed, and Brenton are there as well too. So yeah.
Big community.
Exactly. That's what it is. And it's we're all worldwide. Like that's what I love about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let everyone go. But thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
joining. Have a
Thank
great
you.
rest of the day and night, and we'll see you next week.